Hello, I'm Tim Masters. I'm the school leader of Kensington Kids Academy, and today we're going to be filming a video about how it is working in our school. This video and hopefully future videos are intended to give future applicants an idea of how it is working in Kensington, a glimpse of our workplace, and hopefully helping them make an educated decision whether they want to apply to our school or not, be they teachers or teaching assistants. Today we have here Miss Fiona. Thank you so much for being here today with us, who has worked with us as a teacher for the last 4 years, teaching kindergarten classes and elementary classes. Sadly, Miss Fiona is going to be retiring for our school in a few months. Fiona, I want to start by saying thank you so much, first of all, for being here today and for your time, and also for working with us for 4 years. It has been so much fun working together, yes. And I learned so much from you, and you have been such an important part of Kensington, so we're so sad to see you go, even though I'm sure that it's the best decision that you made for your family. Thank you so much. Now, let's start. The first question I want to ask is, first of all, what originally attracted you to work at Kensington Kids Academy? And how has your experience compared to your expectations?
Yeah, when I was looking for a job, I applied at several different English schools. And when I came to interview at Kensington, I actually felt they were friendly. It was a friendly interview. I felt comfortable, and I also felt like it wasn't just going to be a job where you just had to stick to the curriculum and go home. They were actually open to my ideas and would use my gifts and talents. And I actually was successful with a few English schools actually, but I chose Kensington because I felt that's where I would be comfortable.
Did we totally destroy your experience?
No, not at all, not at all. It's just been the same. The team are friendly. We all get to share our ideas and help each other. We have a good, strong curriculum, but we can also be flexible in how we teach. So it's been such a great experience.
Thanks. Thank you, Fiona. Well, what have you enjoyed most about working here? What do you think is like the best thing about working here so far?
I think, of course, being able to see the kids grow and excel and enjoy the school, but I think also the fact that we can be confident in sharing our ideas, that the team is great and works really well together. I've never had any issues working here. It's just been a really great experience to be part of this.
Thanks.
Truly, honestly.
Well, I mean, no workplace is perfect, right? And neither is ours. And I think we are better now than we were like 4 years ago, for sure. But I'm sure that there are many things we can still improve upon. What has been the most challenging thing for you about working here?
Personally, it's been being open to feedback. Initially, I didn't like it. I didn't like when people observed my lessons and that kind of thing.
No.
I was very, very shy, but I've come to really appreciate the feedback, really appreciate people saying, well, this is good, but this is where you can improve. So I really think that was challenging, making sure that I was open to that feedback. Also a challenging thing was me constantly trying to challenge myself. Don't just rely on, I know what to do, that's fine, but trying to prepare really well and make sure that I can do the best lessons possible for the kids.
Yeah, like the feedback part is like a very important part of the culture here. You have to have a thick skin, maybe, right?
Yeah.
Some of us are blunter than others as well.
I've developed it over time. I have developed that, and it's been really good for me.
But I think like at the end of the day, what is important, for everybody is like we're gonna do what is best for our students, and I think like keeping that in mind makes receiving feedback so much easier, maybe. What do you think? You have worked for other schools, workplaces in Japan too.
Yes.
Yeah, you have, right? what do you think sets Kensington apart from other schools or workplaces you've been part of? Like, let's say especially in Japan, which is more relevant to our talk.
Well, again, I would have to go back to actually being, Kensington is a place where you can actually share your ideas. It's not a place where you just go in and are expected to teach and I'm not interested in what you have to say, this is the way we do it, we're not going to change. But Kensington is actually a place where you can learn from others, but you can also say, hey, I think it might work a bit better this way, or maybe we could teach this next month. And so you can actually feel that you're not just earning a pay packet, but you're actually contributing to the school.
I think it's a similar experience with most teachers. For me, before working here, and you know, as a leader, I have like a bigger say on how the school is run. Of course, before working in Kensington, I think one of the biggest problems I had was, you know, how insignificant I felt.
Yeah.
You know, in every other workplace. I'm exaggerating, but sometimes I felt like, you know, I was in a zoo. You know, like I was a chimp there just to perform, and my say. You know, the chimp doesn't have a say on what we're going to do. You know, it's an exaggeration, but I almost felt depressed working for other schools. Nobody cared what I had to say, and one of the things that I really wanted to make sure didn't happen was like our team members having the same experience. I'm really glad that you pinpointed that.
Yeah.
Thanks. Let's talk a little bit next about impact, your relationships. How would you describe your relationships with students, with your colleagues, and the school leadership?
Yeah, as part of giving lessons, it's not just about teaching the vocabulary and the grammar. I also want to encourage students and see that they're actually enjoying the lessons. So building that relationship over time, it's not just about coming to the room and do the lesson and walk out. It's about learning about each individual kid, their personalities, and trying to put their personalities into the lesson. So I think seeing the kids enjoy themselves is good. And I think, I always go back to collaboration. Like, it's a friendly atmosphere. So, no workplace is perfect, right? But it is a friendly atmosphere. And so to come and work here, you need to be willing to be friendly and nice. And, and just want to learn and grow. So, I can honestly say I've had no issues at all, but...
No, I'm sure there's been a few things like...
times where I thought, I wish we wouldn't do it that way, and I don't agree with that. But it's always a conversation. Yeah, in the end, you win. But it's a conversation.
Well, it's not a competition.
No, it's not.
What impact do you feel you've had on your students, like during the time?
Yeah, well, I think it's helpful to have the outcomes written down, like by this time, this month, the kids should know this. I think that is a given. But I would like to think that I've encouraged them, I've helped them to grow in confidence, that they have a classroom that they actually feel safe in. They feel like they're not going to get in trouble if they can't speak it or they don't have the right answer, that they're just going to be encouraged and say, okay, well, let's try again, and a safe environment. So just a safe environment to actually learn English, and not feel like it's a pressure for them. I think that's the best way that kids learn. So that's what I would like to say, that when the kids leave the classroom, they've learned something, but they've also enjoyed it.
One of my favorite things teaching kids is how they may come to class tired many times, because we have to keep in mind that they come to class after their work. It's after school for them. So they will come tired, sometimes it's cold, sometimes it's hot, but they almost always leave the class excited. And so I feel like, I've had impact on them, like that particular day. They came tired, they left like super happy, basically, right?
Yeah.
It's one of the things I enjoy very much about being a kids teacher. You came, I have to say that Miss Fiona came to our school as a qualified teacher. So you've had already worked as an elementary school teacher for many years. It's over 10, around 10 years, right? How is, so your experience, your prior experience is different to the usual experience we get from applicants. How has working in Kensington helped you grow as a teacher and a professional?
I think the fact that we can share ideas and say, this month we're teaching this, and what do you think? How would you teach that? And also through the feedback, not only people giving feedback to me, but the ability to actually watch other people teach, so that I go, oh, that's a great way to teach that. So I'm always learning and learning from other teachers on how to do things. So you don't just sort of sit back and go, I need to do that. I'm fine with that. But actually wanting to get the best out of my students, which what makes me want to actually be a better teacher.
This collaboration has increased over the years, hasn't it?
Yeah. A lot more sharing ideas.
Right. And for me too, like when I teach a class, I think it's just a mixture of every other teacher in Kensington, basically. I try to get the best bits out of everybody in implementing them.
Yeah.
What kind of support or resources have you found most valuable in your time here?
I think it's changed over time. Like right now, I think the curriculum is good, and we always have the resources that we need, like the reading and the writing sheets, and all of that's prepared for us, and still have the flexibility to be able to put our own teaching and ideas into it. So I think that the skills that we bring and the way that people can share ideas, like if I'm stuck for a lesson, I easily go to another teacher and say, how would you teach this part? Give me an idea for a game, or being able to share my ideas too. So I think collaboration and always having that freedom to just ask another teacher, what would you do here?
It requires also a lack of pride, basically, not to think like we ourselves know what is best, right? Just to seek out help as necessary, right?
Yeah, and also being, externally being able to prepare well, to do research on the internet and say, how would I teach that, or what's a good idea? There's so many resources available, but you just have to be willing to put some time in.
Great. Now for the next question, I wonder if our answers are going to be different, because we had a discussion with Liam and Sadie the other day. I asked the same question to them, and their answer was different to mine. Is it easy for a teacher, like especially a new teacher, to be successful here? What do you think? Like, this is a video we are making for people that are interested in applying to our school. Do you think it's an easy place to be successful? Easy environment to be successful?
Yes. I think first of all, you won't be successful if you're just teaching English, because that's the only thing you can do in Japan, and you won't be successful if you're just after coming and going and getting a pay packet. That will be reflected in results and how you work with the team, so you won't be successful if you do that. But if you're open to feedback, if you're willing to learn, if your first priority is the kids and seeing them excel, you're willing to prepare, then yes, you'll be successful.
Is it easy?
It's grown over time.
Yeah.
It can't be expected, to be perfect when you first arrive or after 4 years, but it becomes easier and easier. Yeah.
You're right. Yeah, I totally agree. It's that mindset that we are looking for as well. It's really hard to be successful here if you're not a good listener, basically, and willing to grow, and willing to put the students, what you said, students first, basically. So in that respect, we are quite different from other, I think, English schools, where the student is not always first. Usually they're not, basically in other places, right? What advice would you give to somebody considering joining Kensington Kids Academy?
I think that if teaching English is a passion for you, then you're going to be able to excel in teaching English. And if you are confident and you want to share ideas about teaching, if you don't just want to come and be told this is a curriculum and walk out at the end of the day, then you might not be successful. But it's a place where you can feel free to share ideas.
Mm-hmm.
So my advice would be to have confidence to be willing to do that and to make sure that you can listen and take on feedback.
Great. This is really good advice. Thanks, Fiona. My last question for today was, I think it's similar to what we've talked about so far, is what do you think new teachers or new teaching assistants can expect to gain or experience by becoming part of the Kensington team? I think you touched to some of that before in what you have said, right?
Yeah, it's kind of, again, you're going to gain a great team. You are in a friendly atmosphere, so it's nice to come to work and know that it's going to be a great environment to step into, that you're not going, oh, I'm going to work again today. So there is that feeling of it's a great atmosphere to work in. Also, I think, I've just learned from other teachers and what to do, sometimes what not to do, and they've learned from me the same things, I think. But I think you're going to experience a great team that wants to help you grow as a teacher, not just do a job, not just make money for the business, but actually is concerned about students and concerned about the people that they work for. I've experienced a lot of flexibility, a lot of understanding with personal circumstances and different things. So I think it's a great place to work in that respect.
Thank you so much for your time.
You're very welcome.
Thank you very much.